adjustment to the throwing ball as you watch it right here. You see the one Tech receiver's like, that's way behind me, but Torgerson's right behind him, able to come down with that one, and another first down for this Orediger offense. As on fourth down, the Orediger's able to come up with a big play.
Yeah, I thought it was going to Milanowski, and by 10 yards rather. Here's a first down carry to the 5-yard line. So gain of 5, second and goal from the 5 as Wykees Johnson takes it down.
Yeah, just picking his way up inside. Those offensive linemen just getting pieces of blockers on defense for Rocky. And Wykees Johnson picks his way down almost to the 5-yard line. Beautiful day here in Billings, just a little bit of wind. Otherwise,
a lot of sunshine, Bobby.
It's pretty nice for November 1st here in Billings.
Second and goal from the 5. He'll stay on the ground. Johnson, and he is brought down. Going to mark him at the 2-yard line, so this will set up third and goal.
Yeah, this Tech run game, they get inside the 10-yard line. They want to bring in a bunch of heavier set guys as you watch them follow the block of Taryn Grooms, running back, big running back out of Sheridan, Wyoming. And of course they got Derek Pearson there, and their other tight end, double tight end set with Tyson Hunt. Big heavy set right here, but Wilson always dangerous with his feet.
Third and goal from the 2, empty backfield now for Wilson. And Wilson, this is a carry all the way, touchdown Montana Tech.
Yeah, just almost like I called the play myself, is they had the heavy set motion. Torgerson, a lot of respect for Torgerson out of the backfield right there, goes over to the edge. And Jarrett Wilson just takes it with a quarterback run right there, gets north and south real quick. Maybe not have the top end speed of some other athletes, but so effective with the decision making right there, just rushes it in. Looked very, very easy and well blocked up front as the Orediggers zoom in front of this one pending the extra point.
Good job by that offensive line.
Absolutely.
Opening up those holes, and as you said, Bobby, Wilson made it look easy. Up over the left side for the third touchdown of the afternoon for Montana Tech. Kautzman on for the extra point. Ball is down and kick is up and through. So with 3:07 to play here in the first half, Montana Tech extends the lead to 21-3. This is a game that really flipped on a dime. Rocky took the opening drive, went down, kicked the field goal to take the early 3-0 lead. But since then, Montana Tech has dominated. 3 long drives, 3 touchdowns, and now playing like the number 5 ranked team in the country as they've opened up this 21-3 lead.
Yeah, the defense is doing just enough up front to throw Novak off timing-wise, but then their offense so efficient. You know, we've watched Jarrett Wilson really run this offense effectively, just pitch and catch, and then when he is in trouble, he's able to find that next level offensive guy. They've been the benefit of some pass interference calls, and if you're a Rocky fan right now, those are probably a little behind, but nonetheless, this offense is taking advantage of every opportunity, and they protect the ball so well, Chris. They don't put the ball on the ground, and the one time that they did, they got the benefit of being down by contact. So Tech, much like they did in the first game, very efficient running the ball and then taking advantage of the opportunities that are presented to themselves and not doing anything.
Well, the Orediggers have been in the red zone 38 times going into this game. They've scored at 34 of those possessions, 27 of them resulting in touchdowns, and they get another touchdown here. Baranowski will kick this one to Smith, who returns it. Smith at the 20 to the 25, still on his feet to the 30, and the Bears will have good field position on the nice return by Trey Smith.
He does a nice job. And, you know, a lot of times Ryder Baranowski's not going to allow you the opportunity to return the ball. He's kicked so many through the end zone, but into this win, Smith does a nice job, fielding that. And then he's not going 100 miles an hour and he can't change direction. He's under control, going at a good gait. And then as things open up for him, he just absolutely bursts through that hole and sets up Rocky Mountain College over the 35-yard line as they open up here in the second quarter of this one.
So they'll start this drive from the 37, first down. 2:59 to play in the first half. Novak has gone all the way at quarterback. Looks left, now fires across the middle. Has a man at the 45-yard line.
Yeah, Tyson Hunt does a nice job there from his tight end spot, something that we don't hear a lot of in this Rocky offense. But Hunt, big target for Novak, just on the nice crosser underneath as you watch Novak with plenty of time right here, able to read this one through, delivers it right into the hands of Tyson Hunt on that one. And Hunt able to get good yardage after that one and move the chains.
First down from the 49. Need to move quickly here. They have one timeout remaining. Novak has time, fires, and this one is incomplete.
Yeah,
Trying to get out there for Abbott, but just overthrown.
Well, Tech brought something off the right side of this offense. They picked it up nicely, and you saw Novak making that adjustment right before the snap. They picked it up, and that ball, catchable ball right there, Abbott able to not get that one, as that one was thrown right into the sun here. As that low fall sun, that's a tough one to get if you're a wide receiver, but if you're this Rocky Mountain College offensive team, got to have that one.
2nd and 10. And the give is to Adams, and Adams falls forward to the 45. Pick up a 4, 3rd and 6.
Yeah, Jace Thompson from his safety spot comes up and makes a nice play on that one. Otherwise, it looked like Tough Adams would still be running, but Thompson fills in from his safety spot with his Montana Tech defenses. There's a lot of guys on defense playing hard and downhill. As you see right there, Tough Adams just tripped up right at the end of this one. As we get to the 2-minute timeout, here you're watching college football Frontier style from Billings, Montana on SWX.
And welcome back to the Rocky Bowl on the campus of Rocky Mountain College. 21-3 is our score with 2 minutes to play in the first half. Montana Tech ranked 5th in the country with the lead. Battlin Bears with the football, facing a 3rd and 5 from the 46. And the Bears desperate for some points here, Bobby, before the first half ends.
Got to get something here. If you're Coach Stutz and Trent Novak, got to get some positive points going into the half.
Here's Novak, has a wide, and this one is going to be intercepted right off the hands of Abbott and right into the waiting arms of Kellen Beller.
And Beller right there, again, this is reminds me a lot of the game we did in Butte, where every bounce, every ball that was tipped or bounced right into the hands of a Tech defender, and that one, good strike into the wind here as you watch Novak lots of time. Little ball's a little bit behind, but that one's got to be caught as Beller just in the right spot at the right time. The beneficiary of a tip ball, another pick here, thrown off of a tip ball by Novak, as Tech has good field position. Under 2 minutes to go here.
Well, they still have 2 timeouts remaining, so Montana Tech would love to put their foot on the Bears right here. Plenty of time to score. They bring Torgerson across. He gets it. Looks inside, cuts outside, cannot reach the corner. Flag comes in at the end of the play.
Yeah, there's a lot of reaching and grabbing on this one. This is in the position of a holding call. Torgerson, so dangerous with the ball in his hand. We've seen a number of runs by him, just an extension of a stretch play. As we get the call here from our white hat. So Michael Perry, the offender on that one.
We'll back him up 10 to the 38. Clock's going to start.
That's what Rocky needs right there, is to get into the half. Now, we talked about when they had the ball, trying to get into the end zone, just trying to get out of the half here. Trying to play a little bit more pass-savvy defense here if you're the Battlin Bears.
Ball's at the 28, first down and 20, and they will stay on the ground. Milanowski wrapped up and taken down. Not much there. Mason Browning in on the stop for Rocky.
Yeah, Rocky's backers, we talked about their experience earlier in the half here. And Browning, nice young man. Last couple weeks, it's funny, as you and I travel the frontier, we get to know some of these players. And I wear I wear a pair of shoes every week to do a broadcast, and they mean a lot because they've been customized by a young lady here in town who was with the Boys and Girls Club. And he and I got to talking about it last week, and today he came up and said, and he just says, hey, looks like we're wearing those shoes again. Hopefully they pay off this week for us too. So, it's great to have relationships with these young guys. And Mason Browning, fine young man, playing good football for Rocky Mountain College, is right there. Trey Smith in on the stop there.
Well, Wilson was lucky he fell on it because
Exactly.
Smith had a chance to recover the fumble, but that's going to all the way up to the 20-yard line. And now at third down and under 30 seconds to play here, Montana Tech more than glad to run the clock out and go into the locker room ahead 21-3.
Yeah, Trey Smith's a little bit frustrated with some of the calls he's been going against that time. Triggers so fast from that defensive corner spot right there. He sees the ball on the ground. He knows what to do, and he's the right guy to do it. He's quick to trigger and drive this Montana Tech offense back even deeper as we take this one into halftime, Chris.
So that'll bring us to the end of the first half. Rocky Mountain College opened the game on a field goal to lead, and then 21 unanswered for Montana Tech. And Montana Tech, Bobby, they are a legit number 5. And we'll just leave it at that for now as we've come to the end of the first half. Stay with us. Our halftime show is next on SWX. And welcome back to college football on SWX. It is halftime here in Billings, Herb Clint Field. And the visiting team, Diggers from Montana Tech, leading over the Battlin Bears 21-3. Well, we are pleased to be joined right now by new men's head basketball coach Danny Neville, who comes to us after one season at Langston University in Oklahoma. Prior to that, 8 years at Jamestown, another great NAI college basketball program. Coach, welcome to Billings. Good to have you here. How things going?
I appreciate it. It's been really good. My family and me getting acclimated to Billings, and we play tomorrow, so we've been working for this moment tomorrow.
Coach, I got to ask you, there's always pressure when a new coach comes into a program. Expectations are always high. For Rocky Mountain College, they have had two basketball coaches in the last 32 years. Since 1992, they had Gary Matlock and then Bill Drykosen, of course, who played here at Rocky, kind of a favorite son. He's been here forever. So you've got big shoes to fill. Did you feel any pressure at all when you took the job that, wow, they are really making a sea change with their head coach?
I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with where this program was at, too. Like, Bill's had great success here, and then, getting here, he had good players that ended up staying, and we added a few more. But pressure-wise, I mean, this is my 9th year as a head coach, 16th year as just a coach in general. So, we're trying to build the culture and get these guys to play hard, play together, and so. The pressure is, we'll see. If we're good, then we'll have some pressure.
Yeah, it'll be good pressure, right? 4 times you had Jamestown to the NAI National Tournament, so you've had experience at that level. But just as impressive, if not more so, is your kids always seem to excel in the classroom, and that, of course, is why they're here on campus. They're here to get an education.
Yep, for sure. And that's the kind of kids that I've always had, just good kids that are good academically, and obviously, you want them to be good at basketball too. But we got great kids here.
You mentioned your wife, Erin, and your 2 kids. How's the transition been for your family as they've come to Billings? I can tell you, I've lived here for a long, long time, Coach, and I fell in love with Billings way back in 1983 when I moved here and it never left.
I'm from, Jamestown, so it's bigger here, and we just love the area. My wife's a teacher, so she loves her school, and the kids are getting acclimated. My son's out there right now talking to their injured receiver out there, so it's been awesome here.
Well, welcome to the Rocky Mountain College family. Welcome to Billings, and we certainly look forward to watching your team play.
Appreciate you having me out.
All right, Coach.
Yeah,
Best of luck moving forward.
Thanks.
Okay, that's Rocky head men's basketball coach Danny Neville. And again, his season starts tomorrow, folks. So if you get a chance, come on out to the Fortin Center and check out the Battlin Bears. Stay with us. We're just getting started here at halftime between Rocky and Montana Tech. We're back after this. And welcome back to Billings here on the campus of Rocky Mountain College as the Battlin Bears trail Montana Tech 21-3 at the half. Montana Tech coming into this game 8-0, ranked 5th in the country in the latest NAIA poll with an eye to the postseason under head coach Kyle Sampson on an absolute Chamber of Commerce afternoon here in the first Saturday in November, Bobby. And we've got temperature in the mid-60s with plenty of sunshine, and you see some of the fans and the kids having a great day at the Rocky Bowl, as we like to call it. And let's take a look at the Frontier Conference, and here's our matchups today, and take us through some of the more important games.
Yeah, that one at the top of your screen right there, yep. Eastern Oregon at UM Western, that's huge. That's going to play a heavy role not only on the Western side of this one, as those two are both sitting in second place, but, in that postseason run that both teams are trying to, race towards right now, that's huge. Arizona Christian at the College of Idaho. We kind of can predict how that one goes as we see how the West standings look, as Carroll College sitting on top of that at number 8, College of Idaho at 15, and Western still hanging in there. Need a little bit of help from some other folks, but still in that race, sitting in second place at number 20. But, Eastern Oregon, they've given some teams some tough matches and trying to do the same thing down in Dillon as we flip to the east side. And Montana Tech done, as you say, been perfect on the season. We've seen that today, sitting at number 5. Rocky Mountain College, a little bit of a surprise, sitting at 3-0 in top of the Frontier Conference East Division, along with Montana Tech. And Dakota State sneaking in there, been playing well as of late, only at 2-1, but still in full view of the back end of this one for playoff contention. Is the top 5 really hasn't changed. As last week Montana Tech was tied for 4th, but one vote out of 4th as friends Kansas sneaks ahead of them in the standings, Chris.
Yeah, Grandview has been there from the start among the top 25 at 7-0, tied with Kaiser, Florida, and Benedictine. And there you see the teams in the Frontier Conference that are ranked in the top 25. Carroll College in at number 8, College of Idaho, Montana Western, and Dakota State. Of course, Montana Tech is in there at number 5. And then the other school to watch, Bobby, going into the final 3 weeks is Dakota State. And they still can have a lot to say here in the East if they win today. Now, that's who Rocky will play next week. And the Bears, of course, need to win out to win the East, but Dakota State is right there and still in the mix when it comes to the Frontier Conference and the postseason.
Yeah, you and I talk about this every week on our show. This week in the Frontier Conference, don't forget to watch that Thursdays at 7 p.m. And then I think we're going to start replaying that before games. So the guys in the booth are yelling at me to pump the show, and you never know. It's mostly your show. I'm just there as eye candy. Holy cow.
Well, we've had a lot of fun with it, and for no other reason than to be able to just look back and see what happened the week before, but more important, be able to kind of piece together the possible scenarios for all of these schools. And Rocky, as we said, it's very easy, straightforward. They need to win out. If they do, they'll win the East. So we are at halftime here in Billings, 21-3, our halftime score. The Battlin Bears with a lot of things to talk about here at the break if they want to climb back into this one. Halftime continues from Billings when we come back. Welcome back to Herb Clint Field on the campus of Rocky Mountain College. 21-3 is our score. Montana Tech out on top of the Battlin Bears. As you get a beautiful view of the Rim Rocks here just below Logan International Airport on a sun-drenched afternoon here in the Magic City. Chris Byers along with Bobby Beers. And Bobby, when we look back at the first half and the highlights for Rocky Mountain College, you know, they came out, took the opening drive, went down the length of the field, kicked a field goal, but they looked good in the early going.
They did. I mean, you've seen glimpses of what Rocky's capable of, even without Darius Haskins. As Trent Nobach right there, there was a nice pass to Eric Lira. Lira raced across this one, looked like he was gone for a second, gets caught down there at the end of this one by Peyton Gonzer, and then able to kick that one through the uprights. Everything looked roses right there, but then Montana Tech hadn't had the ball. And then Wilson able to hand it off here to Nate Milanowski. Milanowski just gets north and south, finishes in the gold end zone right there on the north side of this one. As Tech pulls up and ahead, wouldn't look back after that, as Nobach had some bright spots here. This one, just a little bit of a tip ball, and Damon Burns catches this one, but then Abbott pulls it out and right back into Rocky's hands, as that was kind of an exciting play. One of those things where there's a lot going on, and it's standpoint here high atop of the scaffolding at Herb Clint Field, but then this guy with the ball in his hands makes a lot of guys miss in the frontier. Yeah, same holds true here for the Rocky defense as Levi Torgerson races into the end zone, and then Jarrett Wilson races out of the contain of the Rocky defense, pitches this one down, and there's Torgerson again on the receiving end, this time not getting the ball in the running game. And then this time Wilson does it all on his own as he races inside, finds a little bit of space, and races into the south end zone this time as Tech continued to roll this morning here in Billings. Well, they weren't done, though.
The difference, Bobby, for me in this game is when Montana Tech has had opportunities to score, they have. Each time they would get down into the red zone, they'd capitalize. I mean, very good statistically coming in, 27 of 38 in the red zone, scoring touchdowns, and 34 of 38 coming away with a score. But it seemed to me that when they were presented with the opportunities to score, Wilson came up with some big third down conversions to extend drives, and then they got into the end zone. And for Rocky, yeah, they've been able to move the football between the 20s, but just when they've had an opportunity, they have been able to finish and capitalize. So we'll see what changes they make now coming into the second half.
Well, Montana Tech all year, this team, we talk about, you know, Levi Torgerson and Jarrett Wilson and Derek Pierce on offense, but it all starts up front, and they may have a couple of negative plays where Rocky gets through, but they've got to be almost perfect on every play, and this offensive line is just so deep and so powerful up front that they create space for those offensive playmakers, and their snap to finish every snap, every down for the offensive line for Montana Tech has really been the difference for me. That consistency up front that they've been able to play with the same five guys every week has allowed them to have the success they've had this year.
Well, we talked about Montana Tech being perfect, Bobby, at 8-0 overall and ranked 5th in the country. But what's really important for Montana Tech, and especially in relation to the national rankings, and you and I talked a lot about this just off camera, that if you look to the playoffs and you look big picture for Montana Tech, you want to be not in the top 10, you want to be in the top 4, because if you can stay in the top 4, that's going to keep you at home over there in Butte, America, right all the way up into the semifinals. And so that difference between number 4 and number 5, where they fluctuated all season, is kind of a big deal. So you want to finish with that unbeaten record and then hope you can get into that top 4.
So I did have a conversation with Kyle Sampson about that this week, about, you know, what happens, you know, and what they're, you know, trying to position themselves for. So we see that those polls, and we talk about them every week, but there's a couple of other polls, the FPI and the Massey ratings, that we don't get to see that often. And in digging into that, I think it's the FPI poll that has Montana Tech as their number 1 rated team, and I think they're down at number 3 in the Massey, and then in the national poll they're number 5 this week. So Montana Tech's right where they need to be.
Yep. As
we see the top poll in the top of the poll in the NAI rankings, as Grandview's maintained that as a stranglehold on the number 1 spot. Kaiser getting the Grandview vote as the token 1 vote out of Florida right there. But Benedictine's hung around, their only loss being to Grandview. But this NAI poll there's a long way away from being over, as you see the Frontier teams right there still, you know, jockeying for position as this season winds down.
All right, so and there you see the remainder of the teams in the Frontier, along with Montana Tech, that are in the top 25, Carroll, College of Idaho, and Western. And we will step aside one more back. It's quarter number 3 here in Billings. between Montana Tech and the Battlin Bears of Rocky Mountain College. (21-3) in favor of Montana Tech as we're set to begin the third quarter of play. And Bobby, back to the coin toss. Tech wanted deferred, so for Rocky to get back into this game, boy, I tell you what, they have got to get a stop on this opening possession. If Montana Tech gets the ball, marches down and scores, it's going to be a long second half.
Well, they've got to find some answers defensively, Rocky Mountain College, and you're exactly right. It's a big possession for them defensively, just to see if they can find some answers to the very multiple things that Tech's been able to do today.
Quickly, a couple of scores for us, Bobby. I know you've been tracking that. Bring us up to speed here.
Yeah, we talk about, Carroll hasn't started down in Southern Oregon, but Western having their way with Eastern Oregon, over in Dillon. They were up 35-0 at the half, and College of Idaho is having the same kind of success down in Idaho at home versus Arizona Christian. They were up 21-7 in the third, so things are kind of playing out as expected. Carroll hasn't started yet down in Arizona, or down in California yet, so we'll have to see how this one plays out as the Frontier Conference is kind of going as expected.
All right, Leg gets foot into it, drives Torgerson all the way into the back of the end zone. Montana Tech will get the football here to begin quarter number 3 in a 21-3 game. So, Coach, if you're Rocky Mountain College, what are we doing different in the second half?
Well, that's a great question. You can't take away anything. I think the one key to this offense really is, when you see Levi Torgerson in motion, you've got to make that adjustment quickly, but you can't necessarily leave the box if you're a linebacker. You want to extend yourself out to the sideline to turn him back inside, but you still have to, maintain your run dominance inside, so you might have to bring another safety down and just go with a one high shell, as we see that they've made that adjustment early here.
First down for the Diggers as we start the third quarter. Wykees Johnson spins out of one tackle, but then wrapped up and taken down, and not much there. Good job defensively out on the outside as Landon Cannell.
Yeah, right there. You see Sean Tuddy was sitting right there from a safety spot. He kind of plays that hybrid outside backer safety position. He's in coverage quite a bit more than he was early in the season, but Tuddy right there. Wykees Johnson comes downhill, spins away from Tuddy, but there's another Rocky defender right there. So, trying to bring more people to the point of attack and ensure the tackle and force this Tech offense into some long yardage situations.
Gain of 2, 2nd and 8 from the 28. Opening drive, third quarter. Bears show pressure off the edge. They run it up inside to Johnson, and Johnson is going to be right at the first down marker. They might mark him about a half-yard short.
Yeah, right there. You saw Samar Turner come in and finish at the end, but Wykees Johnson does a great job of not necessarily taking on the whole man defensively. He bounces off a lot of tackles right there, as we see Cade Reynolds in our shot right there. The linebackers at Rocky have to play big this second half and ensure that, that they are tackling soundly, bringing down Wykees Johnson and Nate Milanowski in the run game.
Just short of the first down, 3rd and 1 from the 34. And, nice play to Torgerson on the outside, who's got a first down and a whole lot more. Tripped up by Goins.
And Goins a little late to the party on that one, as Torgerson so quick just getting into the flat and getting the first down right there. But there was so much action in the backfield that held everybody's eyes. Goins got trapped right back there with the same eye candy right there. Just so much going on. Wilson, always dangerous with his feet, had a couple of options, and he gets it to his trusted buddy over there, and Levi Torgerson. And Torgerson able to get another set of downs for these Ore Diggers.
First down gain to the 43 for Montana Tech. And they bring Torgerson across. Now they hand it off inside, and that time, the Bears read that one perfectly. Big old scrum going on along the line of scrimmage.
Well, those big defensive tackles for Rocky Mountain College, Dakota Sage and John Aragon inside, doing a good job getting on the other side of the line of scrimmage, forcing Wykees Johnson to start bouncing around and looking for holes and allowing those Rocky Mountain College defenders to get in there and make sure that he doesn't get any more, as they only pick up 2 on first down.
Able to move that pile forward to get a couple on the plus side, so 2nd and 8 from the 45. Montana Tech using clock here in the third quarter with a big lead. Wilson will play action and now fires out to his check down man. That's Torgerson. And Torgerson in a battle over there with Sean Tuddy. Tuddy runs him out of bounds, but not before Torgerson is right at the first down marker at the 47 in Rocky territory, and it's enough for the first down.
You see the left-handed quarterback, Wilson, the play action holds everybody. Rocky did a great job on the play side of that one, on the left-handed side of the offense there. Levi Torgerson, a guy that you don't want to leave open, was standing all by himself, and Tuddy able to take a good angle by that one and not make the big play out of it. Although they do get the first down, Tuddy forces him out of bounds, but not before the Ore Diggers get a new set of downs here on Rocky territory.
Charlie Kurgan in the backfield, and Johnson, left side, still on his feet, pulled down at the 40-yard line. That's a gain of 7, 2nd and 3.
Boy, the run blocking for Montana Tech has been outstanding. They ran downhill on the left side of that one. Charlie Kerrigan didn't have to initiate contact until about 5 yards down the field. Nobody touched Wykees Johnson until right about 6 yards. Brings up 2nd and 3 here as Montana Tech able to get 7 on first down.
Yeah, and that's just been a big story today, is Montana Tech so good on first down, getting positive yards. And this makes it easy for the offense when you're set up at 2nd and 3 from the 40 on this opening drive here in the third quarter. They've already used up 4 minutes here in the third. Johnson, I think, just kind of tripped and fell. right at the 40, so no gain on the play and set up 3rd and 3.
We used to call that all shake, no bake. It's tough sledding in the interior. If you're just running straight downhill on this Rocky defensive line, it's tough sledding with those two big defensive tackles. Where Tech's made most of its hay today has been in that B or C gap, just running on edge and being able to get those big offensive linemen downhill, along with the help of with your Charlie Pierce's out lead blocking for this heavy run game offense.
Milanowski now in the backfield for Wilson on 3rd down. Ball marked at the 39. Wilson play action, fires into double coverage, incomplete. Now a late flag comes in.
Yeah,
Ball was intended for Dylan Flatt, or I'm sorry, for Dylan Snyder rather.
Yeah, I think they're going to get Landon Quisnell, number 22, for Rocky, as that ball was thrown behind him, and Quisnell was actually in better position on that one.
Yeah, he throws his hands up as if, boy, that.
Well, the wind's taking control of the White Hats' mic today, but regardless of who it was on a Rocky. Specifics on that one. They're going to call it a spot foul, and it looks like they're going to move the chains here.
That's tough, Bobby, because that would have been
would
have set up 4th and 4 for Montana Tech, but instead it's a fresh set of downs, 1st down. The ball sitting right at the 36-yard line.
Coach Sampson over there helping them.
Yeah, Mark.
Not only are you a head coach in this, you're helping with some of the in-game operations.
By the way, I've got to say, Bobby, you're looking good today. You've got the designer tennis shoes on from the Boys and Girls Club. You got the designer shades on. You got the whole look going today.
Yeah, we're outdoors. We're in the elements.
You're part Malibu Beach, part Billings. Here's an inside handoff. Late flag comes in the backfield.
Yeah, I think we're going to give a little hold here on those Montana Tech offensive linemen. We've been bragging up right there. As Nate Milanowski gets the ball right there. As I said, it's tough sledding interior with those two big defensive tackles for Rocky Mountain College. As we still don't have a mic on the White Hat right now, but we are going to get a holding call inside on the offensive line, so we're going to back up Tech here, redo it here on 1st down. This one's going to go back even closer to the 50 as Rocky Mountain College's defensive tackles, big load to handle inside. Brings up 1st and a long ways for this Montana Tech offense.
From the 46, they need the 26 for the 1st down. So a couple of penalties here on both teams. And here's Wilson now on 1st down. And he fires it out here, and that ball is caught at the 39-yard line. Dylan Snyder, the 6'2 wide receiver, they call it incomplete now. Made a nice catch, but out of bounds. Incomplete pass.
Looked like he had it right there, but as you're taught as a defensive back, get there and rip a hand away, and Snyder not able to hang on to that one. As you even were coaching my kid up before this, you got to catch the ball first and then worry about the out of bounds, right, Chris?
Yep. Take a look at it one more time.
Great job by Goins right there, ripping it out right at the end. Ball comes out right there, incomplete pass. Snyder knew it too.
Here comes a blitz off the corner, and Wilson feels it, gets rid of it. Incomplete pass. Great pressure by A.Q. Peternall.
Yeah, Peternall was right there, but that one wasn't going very far as Cade Reynolds read that one from his linebacker spot, was coming right downhill on Milanowski. So regardless if that one was caught, it wasn't. But great job reading that one to fruition for this Rocky defense. Brings up 3rd and long here. Orediggers haven't been in long yardage situation all day. Kind of unfamiliar territory as they bring in their light package on offense.
Well, they've run a lot of underneath plays on 3rd and long across the middle. Let's see what they do here on 3rd and 20 from the 46. And they're going to keep it. Milanowski breaks a tackle, still on his feet, and he's got a 1st down and then some. But another flag back at midfield, and this one may be coming.
Again, looks like it's in that area of offensive holding as Coach Sampson just throws his arm up in the air. Yeah, another holding call going to back this Montana Tech offense up again as Milanowski really got to the edge. And you saw some juice out of that young man. He had the 1st down yardage on that play, but that one's coming back on another holding call as this Montana Tech offense comes out and kind of stubs its toe multiple times, backing themselves up across the 50-yard line.
Now looking at 3rd and 30. But the big key to this drive to start the third quarter, Bobby, they have already used 5 minutes of the third quarter, approaching 6.
Yeah, and the penalties have killed them on this drive. More penalties on this drive than they had in the first half.
This time they'll just stay on the ground, and Johnson falls forward to about the 47. So they'll give him 3. It'll be 4th down, and the Orediggers will kick it away.
Well, if you're Rocky Mountain College, getting a little bit of help, but nonetheless, you come out with the desired result right there is your defense holds, bends a little bit, but then the multiple holding calls really stalls this drive for the Orediggers. So Rocky Mountain College with the wind at their back. Okay, if you're the offense, if you're the punter here, Kautzman has the wind in his face and kicking it back to the dangerous return man, Trey Smith, for the Battlin Bears.
Smith standing at his 10-yard line. Clock under 9 minutes here in the third. Diggers used up a lot of time in that opening drive. End over end kick. Smith bobbles it, loses it, still on the ground, and Montana Tech falls on it at the 18-yard line as Trey Smith will cough it up.
Well, I'll tell you what, you and I talked about this off camera, but Montana Tech in the game in Butte was really the beneficiary of almost every bounce. There were balls that hit Rocky wide receivers, they'd bounce into a Tech defender's hands. We had that happen in the first quarter here, and right there, Trey Smith charging up on the short punt right there by Kautzman, bobbles that one, comes back, finds it, kicks the ball. Only Tech player on the field falls on it.
Yeah, that was Justin Weber who falls on it. So a huge turnover for Rocky.
I mean, we were watching 3 Battlin Bears trying to find that ball, and Weber just falls down and falls on top of it.
Here's Wilson. Now fires got a man all alone in the end zone. Touchdown, Nick Michelotti. Michelotti was 15 yards separated by any Rocky defender on a beautiful play fake, and Wilson dials it up and hits him in the end zone for the touchdown.
Yeah, the quick change right there caught Rocky Mountain College kind of licking its wounds, and Michelotti, the big receiver from Helena, Montana, his dad knows a little bit about football, played at Carroll, and then now is the director of the Montana High School Association. His son right there is wide open. There was nobody around him able to make the play, and Tech, after the big turnover, comes away with 7.
Yeah, Kautzman on for the extra point. It's up and through. So with 8:24 to play in the third, Montana Tech extends their lead on the Jarrett Wilson to Nick Michelotti touchdown. 28-3 our score here in the third. Today's Frontier Conference football matchup is brought to you in part by the Frontier Conference. The Frontier Conference, where champions are born. And the commissioner of the Frontier Conference is Scott Crawford, and we had a chance to visit with him by phone earlier in the week and talk about the Frontier and where things are going. And he's so excited about what's happening on the football field with so much presence in the top 25 and so much potential as you look forward to the postseason. Eastern Conference champions, Western Conference champions, automatic bids, and then the possibility of one, if not reaching the field.
Yeah, you've got so many teams with, really their immediate future right in front of them, and they control it. And you're watching Montana Tech make the most of today's opportunities. As this one's going to sail deep into the end zone and not be returnable. Another Ryder Baranowski touchback for Montana Tech.
Interesting too with Darius Haskin out of today's game that we haven't seen more of Eric Lira. They've done a nice job of keeping him bottled up. Having said that, Trent Novak has done a good job finding some of his other receivers. Abbott's been involved in a lot of plays, and so we'll see what they do here, trailing big at 28-3. And this is just about do or die time for Rocky. They're going to need a lot of points in a short period of time.
Well, we'll have to see what adjustments they made offensively. This is going to be the first glimpse we're going to have of Rocky's offense coming out of halftime.
Novak fires underneath, and out there that's incomplete.
Yeah, that one.
Failer, the intended receiver.
Failer, that's Haskins' replacement right there. Good target by him. Failer just puts that one on the ground. As your wide receiver, you're taught to step back to the thrown ball, create a little space for himself. His feet stayed stationary right there as Novak made his first reads, second reads, came back to Failer. Second down, Rocky.
2nd and 10 from the 25. Novak out in the flat, incomplete. Again, that ball just short-armed, intended for Tyson Hunt. 3rd down.
Yeah, good pressure, collapse in the pocket. Big Trey Yates right inside there, getting good push and collapsing that pocket interior on Novak. Didn't necessarily have to change his feet much or make adjustments, but he felt the presence of that Montana Tech defensive line come bearing right down on top of him.
Rocky trying to avoid a quick 3 and out here, 3rd and 10. 3 receivers to the top of your screen on 3rd down. Novak looks that way, airs it out long and deep, and that one is incomplete. Intended for Eric Lira, but there's a flag at the 40-yard line, and I think we're going to get pass interference.
Lira had a little bit of space on that one. That one, you see the effect of the wind here as the wind's at his back. Novak throws a nice deep ball. That one just carried a little bit long, but a little bit of contact downfield, draws the flag here for Montana Tech as they've been bitten by the penalty bug here in the second half.
Well, you remember the first meeting over in Butte back in September that Montana Tech won. Rocky trailed big in that game, got down 29-6 in the first half. Rocky came back, actually got it to within 4 points before Novak went out with an injury. So the penalty takes the ball up to the 40-yard line in the 1st down. Novak, again, airs it out for Hunt, complete inside Tech territory and a 1st down.
Yeah, great job by Hunt maintaining body position on the defender. That was Thompson in coverage right there. Hunt just bodies him up, and Novak able to, very accurate with that pass, puts it right between the 8 and the 0, and it gets another 1st down for this Rocky offense.
Bears on the move here. Tough Adams tries the left side, but wrapped up and taken down. Great tackle by Kellen Beller.
Yeah, the linebacker right there just shoots a gap, and Adams was right there waiting for him. And Beller able to wrap him up and bring him down for a short loss on the play. So the run game's still a little bit of a challenge for this Rocky offense, but still committed to it nonetheless.
Beller, the sophomore from Stevensville, Montana. Stevie, Yellow Jacket.
Oh, there's a lot of good players come out of Stevensville, Montana over the years.
A nice slant inside to Lira, and Lira with the catch, taken down by Gonzer.
Well, Lira's one of those wide receivers where you see him before the game, and the dude looks like a running back. He really does. A little bit shorter stature and very, very stout. As you see him right there with the, what's the hands right here, Chris? Ball's low, out in front of his body, makes a catch, and then misses, makes the first guy miss, drags the second guy with him, third guy bounces off, gets another 1st down for Rocky offense as the senior making some plays for this Rocky offense.
1st down from the 36. They get it out to Adams out of the backfield, who breaks a tackle, still on his feet. Adams takes it all the way down inside the 20-yard line, and a 1st down for the Battlin Bears.
Are not dead yet. As you see, Tough Adams making Damon Burns miss on the tackle, the angle tackle. Burns slips off. Adams gets scooting down the field. So this Rocky offense had some life, made some good adjustments. There's a little life left in these Battlin Bears.
Gain is all the way down to the 15 and a 1st down. Good looking drive for Rocky. 6:20 clock running here in the 3rd. Novak rolls out to his right. Now fires into the back of the end zone. Ball is up and caught but out of bounds. What a sensational catch by Jacoby Failer, but out of bounds, second down.
Failer made the early mistake here, almost makes up for it right there, climbs the ladder, just his momentum takes him out of the back of the end zone. Novak made a great throw right there. As you see this one, little play action, holding the linebackers. He just hucks this one deep, and Failer, watch that catch, Chris, just almost comes down inbounds. Great athletic ability by the young man, trying to redeem himself, but this field's 120 yards long. He needed to be 123.
2nd and 10 from the 15. Novak now is going to feel pressure, and he is wrapped up and taken down for a big loss on the play. So Novak hit behind the line of scrimmage, and that's number 92, Dominic Umili, on the sack, and it's 3rd down.
Yeah, Umili and Anthony Oakes right there just kind of met at the quarterback. Novak didn't like what he saw, pulled it down, but this defensive rush up front for the D-line for Montana Tech, not going to allow him to make a secondary read right there as Novak takes a shot. This defensive line finally gets home in the second half here. Got a little timeout on the field as adjustments are being made.
Bears looking at a 3rd and 16 now from the 21. Just had a terrific drive in the midst of a great drive here, Bobby, but now kind of stalling inside the red zone, and the loss of 5 makes it 3rd and 16. So the Bears take another shot here. Novak looks, now fires back of the end zone, and that one sails out of bounds, incomplete, and it's 4th down. Peyton Gonzer was back there in coverage, and
that was Abbott right there that ran into the time
yeah.
clock in the back of the end zone, as Novak didn't like what he saw initially, thought he'd have Abbott come sneaking out, but the underneath coverage from Montana Tech distracted him enough. And
yeah, they'll try to come away with a field goal.
Goal.
Austin Drake, they'll line it up from the 28-yard line, so this would be a 38-yard field goal attempt, but he's got the wind to his back. And the kick is on the way, and this is good, up and through. So Austin Drake on the 38-yard field goal brings the Bears to within 28-6. 5:17 to play here in the 3rd. Montana Tech in control here in Billings. Austin Drake's field goal makes it a 28-6 game with 5:17 to play in the 3rd. They just announced, Bobby, over the loudspeaker that the concession stand is closing at the end of the 3rd quarter. So if I put my order in now, could you run down? And I'm
not doing much anyway. Might as well. I'm just sitting up here. You're the fashion police, and we got some dietary needs. The play-by-play guy's hungry. Can we get a hot dog and some popcorn?
Jordan Legg to put a foot into it. And this will send Torgerson back into the end zone, and Montana Tech now takes over on offense in a 28-6 game. And this is where, when you have such a great running game with Wykees Johnson and Milanowski, this is when you want to use it, right? I mean, you want to use your clock, run the football, take time off. That first drive of the third quarter, they used nearly 6 minutes. Didn't come away with anything, but used nearly 6 minutes.
Well, I mean, and then when they punted the ball away, they get it on a turnover by, a drop punt. But, you put it on the back of your offensive line, which has been so consistent for you all year, and it really starts up front for this Montana Tech team on both sides of the ball. But this day has been pretty darn perfect for the Orediggers.
Well, they've been good all season. One of the big reasons they are 8-0. And Tech more than willing to stay on the ground as Wykees Johnson takes the carry. Miles Wells in on the stop.
There's some good battles going on up front inside between between John Aragon and some of those guards in the center for Montana Tech. And we don't necessarily talk about those battles going on, but it is so physical up inside, and all day those guys have been pushing and shoving all day, whether it's Dakota Sage, John Aragon, Jordan Latson Davis for this Rocky defense. They've done a nice job, but this Montana Tech offensive line's been too much all day as we watch Wilson just taking it over the left side right there.
Gets to the corner. He's got some speed.
He does have a little bit of juice, and that time does it all on his own, gains the edge, takes it down close to first down yardage. It's going to come up just a little bit short, be 3rd and 1 here. As Montana Tech happy to keep it on the ground today as the wind continues to blow and the clock continues to roll.
Talked about some of those big boys up front for Montana Tech. Guys like Cole Dawes, Chase Meyer, Walk Up. They have been so good all season long. They don't get enough credit.
You got a Butte guy man in the center position, and Zach Tierney, great Butte name, the Tierney family, longtime Butte folks.
It's funny how that works at Montana Tech. Keeps a lot of those kids at home, don't they?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, there's an old saying at University of Montana. They had a whole roster full of Butte guys when Coach Reed took over right there. They were going to build their program on I-15 between Butte, Great Falls, and Helena. And the one thing is don't expect them to stay there on Saturday night. They were going to go home. So it's one thing to get the guys from Butte to campus. It's tough to make them stay there on the weekend. And I'll tell you what, those guys on I-15, it doesn't matter if you're playing college football or high school football. Football is important in that area of this state.
Bears hoping for a quick 3 and out. We'll see if Kautzman kicks it away. It's 4th and 1 from the 34. And Kautzman does kick this one. And this is going to hit and go out of bounds right around the 30-yard line. So Rocky's defense does their job. They force a quick 3 and out. Bears with the football trailing 28-6 with 3:11 to play here in the third.
Hey, folks, as it gets longer in the day and the concession stands do close down here at Rocky, it's at the end of the third quarter. You can always get your SWX fix, whether it's high school or college, and you're watching Frontier football here. But don't forget, you can dial us up on the SWX app wherever you're at, both an app on the App Store or Google Play. You can find us on those places, and you can dial us up wherever you're at. We're happy to entertain you with Frontier Conference action.
Battlin Bears trailing big here in the third. First down from the 30-yard line. Novak. He's going to air this one out again, and down there in coverage. Incomplete pass.
Oh, that one's caught.
Oh, Failer came down with it. What a catch at the 30-yard line.
Jacoby Failer on the deep ball right there. We watched him make the tremendous out-of-bounds play right. Concentration by the young man. The freshman comes up with it, just a jump ball situation right there. Failer in good position, falling down, puts his hands up, able to pluck that one out of the air, sets up Rocky in great field position as this drive opens with a huge explosive play.
Novak. Oh, big pressure there, and he takes a shot at the 45-yard line.
Yeah, Damon Burns finishes that one, and Novak finishes on his back as he's slow to get up.
Yeah, he took a shot right to the head as he was brought down.
That's one of those things where it doesn't look like that devastating a blow as he's holding his head right there, but that whiplash effect off the fake grass, any stadium you're at, that's a terrible thing to have because you're swimming a little bit. So
well, you know when you see the head bounce off the turf like that, that's when you really feel concerned. But they leave him in 2nd and 10 from the 30-yard line. And Brock Ping with a nice burst up over the right side, first down.
Able to find a little bit of space on that right side, gets small through the hole, gets explosive north and south. He's near a first down yardage right there, down towards the 20-yard line. You watch the hit right there on Novak. Watch the head there, Chris, as it disappears, but it bounces right back up into our screen. Those are, I mean, it just looks like you're falling down, but your head, neck's not that strong. Not that strong. Those helmets are very, very heavy.
The Bears it was a gain of 9, so 3rd and 1.
You watch Novak continuing to, kind of gain his facilities back here. Rocky did call a run play right there as Novak. We watched the head come off the turf there. Flag on the play, got holding, or no, they just did a procedural play on the defense right there.
So the penalty against Montana Tech gives the Battlin Bears a first down in the red zone now from the 16-yard line.
Yeah, I think they got number 25, Cole Graham, on his defensive end spot, coming out a little bit early there.
So the Bears refusing to go down in this one just yet. Ping is taken down in the backfield. That's just a great play defensively.
That's Jace Thompson, the safety,
Thompson, yeah,
coming down on the blitz, little bit of a run blitz right there, stays home and under control. CB big Anthony Oakes right there in his defensive line spot, but Thompson, his dad's a Frontier Conference guy, played at Western Montana College. Jory was an All-American, and his son not far from that tree, although Jory was a middle linebacker. His son knows how to tackle from Fort Benton, Montana. Big play there for the Ore Diggers.
And here's pressure on Novak, who fires into the back of the end zone for Lira, and Lira brings it in for the touchdown. What a pass from Trent Novak to Eric Lira, and the Bears strike late here in the third.
That ball hung in the air forever, Chris. Lira was waiting for it, and as you just watched it play, it was almost like it was in slow motion. Lira was wide open as you see this one coming right into your living room, puts it right down in the corner, a little double move action as Lira able to haul that in just before contact, comes away with 6 for Rocky Mountain Colleges. Looks like they've scored on their first 2 drives of the second half, and there you see Sunshine in your video going to sit down and get everything back under control on the sidelines as Rocky Mountain College's offensive adjustments, just with the doctor dialed up as they get their first touchdown of the day, as Novak keeps some composure after taking the hard hit right there and delivers a strike to Eric Lira for Rocky as they draw ever closer, 12-28 here at home.
So much like the game in Butte where Rocky got behind big in the first half, made it really close with a strong second half, and now trying to do the same thing here in Billings. Difference is they were in a much bigger hole today than they were over in Butte, but they've cut it now to 15 at 28-13. So still a 2-possession game with 1:27 to play in the third.
Yeah.
Bears have scored 10 unanswered here.
Yeah, as we get, a couple of other things going on, trying to find out if the White Hats Mike is happening. The other thing that hasn't happened is Rocky Mountain College hasn't had a ball blow off the tee, just one of those side bets that people have going in the tailgate, Chris. But here we go as Jordan Legg kicks her deep. This time it could be returnable.
Yeah, Torgerson might want to bring it out, and he does. Torgerson at the 10, stays on his feet, and now wrapped up, taken down. Flag comes in at the 20-yard line. And we'll wait and see what this one's all about.
Well, the wind is, this one's kind of, the wind's kind of switched, and this one is Ryder made that open field tackle on Torgerson. That doesn't happen very often, but the wind has gone from more of a southerly wind and kind of coming out of the east, or coming out of the west here, blowing eastward. Ball didn't carry quite as far. That one's called on River Wasson as we fix the microphone issues we were having with our referee crew.
Well, this is a big momentum changer for Rocky Mountain College. Here's the touchdown, Bobby, one more time, back of the end zone.
Pump fake freezes the defenders right there, creates a little space for Lyra, and Lyra just waiting for that ball, eventually gets to him. And we talked about Eric Lyra not necessarily having the big impact in the first half. The second half, getting him the ball has been vitally important as Rocky Mountain College able to finish their second drive with a touchdown.
6th touchdown of the season for Lyra. And a big one. Johnson this time is going to be met right at the line of scrimmage. Not much there.
Big stalemate up front as Rocky's defensive line continues to play tough.
And they are undersized too. I mean, you can tell just from, looking at the guys that offensive line for Montana Tech has a big size advantage, but Rocky's defense opportune there.
Well, Rocky does a great job with the guys that they've had. They've developed depth the last couple of years. Coach Stutz really likes the 6 or 7 guys deep that they can go on that. Those guys are holding up front real well for the Battlin Bears today.
2nd and 8 from the 10. And
This
once again, not much there.
Yeah, you watched Wilson have to hold on to the ball right there as Samar Turner from a safety spot. They brought pressure right there, and that was actually Trey Smith from his corner spot. They brought the Cowboy blitz off the edge, and Smith rolled his ankle on that one, hobbles off, so they're going to have to dig deep into the depth chart there as Rocky runs on another corner.
And this is going to bring up 3rd and 9. I think Montana Tech will run the clock down and bring us to the end of the third quarter and be staring at a 3rd and 9. Bears trying to fight their way back into this one. Have cut it to a 2-possession game, and that is indeed the final play of the third quarter. We have played 3 here in Billings at Herb Clint Field. Montana Tech, the 5th-ranked team in the country, leads over Rocky 28-13, but 10 unanswered by the Bears has made this game. Welcome back to Billings. Start of the fourth quarter, 3rd and 9 right now for Montana Tech inside the 10-yard line. So the Bears again hoping for a stop to get this one back. And there you see the importance. Both Montana Tech and the Bears tied at 3-0 atop the Eastern Division standings. Montana Tech with margin of error, none to run the table to capture the East to get into the postseason. So here we go from the 9-yard line, 3rd and 9. Wilson's gone all the way at quarterback. Blitz coming up the middle. Now fires across the middle, intended for Torgerson. Incomplete, 4th down, and Montana Tech will kick it away to Rocky.
Yeah, Rocky did a great job bringing pressure right up the gut that time, created a little bit of space and hurried the throw there. That one sailed a little bit high, so Rocky Mountain College made the right adjustments at halftime, forcing a punt here.
Out of their own end zone.
And this hasn't happened very much for Montana Tech, where they haven't really done much with the possession to get themselves out, let alone punt out of their own end zone. Kind of unfamiliar territory for the Montana Tech special teams.
Bears should come away with great field position as we begin the fourth quarter. Kautzman will send this one, and it'll drive Lyra back. It hits, gets a Montana Tech roll, and goes all the way inside the 25-yard line. Wow, what a kick to the 21.
I'll tell you what, you're looking to flip field position right there, and Kautzman answers the call as he, Lyra, that's one of those things where you want the defensive or your punt returner to field all those kicks in the air. Lyra lets that one bounce. Montana Tech flips the field on Rocky this time as Kautzman gets a hold of one and then gets a friendly roll. Ball rolls all the way to the 25-yard line.
I'm not great at math, but I'm saying that's about a 70-yard punt from the 10-yard line.
I'll tell you what, and the wind's at his back right there, so smart job on the coaching staff. I guess it's going to be the 21. Tough angle for me and my old eyes. But Rocky hoping for good field position. Tech special teams coming to the table.
Well, they got plenty of time. Still the entire fourth quarter here. 2-possession game. Novak flips it out here to Adams and can't hang on to it. Incomplete, 2nd down.
Yeah, you talk about tough balls to throw. That's always tough. And if you're an offensive coordinator or quarterbacks coach, that's one of those you want to deliver on the front side there. Novak kind of into the wind as that one's pushing against it. Adams had to reach behind him right there. But, you got that Tech defense coming downhill. Might be better off not catching that one as he was about 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So that might be one of those fortuitous drops that you don't hear much about in college football.
2nd and 10 from the 21. No back. Straight, now feels pressure and falling down, tries to get it to Adams, incomplete. Brings up 3rd down.
Yeah, he had a bunch of guys at his feet, had his leg being held onto as he was trying to throw that one. Talk about an off-platform throw as Tech defender back there couldn't get a number on the young man, but he was just hanging on to Novak's legs.
Boy, Trent's taken some shots today. I mean, he has been hit and hit repeatedly. Of course, he's had some sore ribs. He's been out nursing injuries, but he has taken a beating, but he's gone all the way today. 3rd and 10 from the 21.
That was Anthony Oakes and Graham there.
He's a tough dude. No back. Looks across the middle. This one's batted down, 4th down.
Yeah, great job by that Tech defensive line. We're going to get to him, just kind of a quick drop, but one of the things you teach your defensive linemen is we see Tell Arthur, that might have been his big paw coming up there, the linebacker who's all over the field when we were in Butte. Made a big tackle in the first half, knocks that one down. So Tell Arthur from his linebacker spot jumps up, gets a hand on that one right in the middle as that one gets tipped and falls to the ground for a change for Rocky Mountain College. So many tip balls for Rocky falling to the one, falls harmlessly to the turf as the punch crew is out for Rocky.
So Jordan Legg will kick this one away, end over end. Torgerson will let it hit. And it will roll dead to the 31-yard line. So a missed opportunity for the Battlin Bears. They completely flipped field position, had a chance, down 28-13, but a 3-and-out now gives the ball back to Montana Tech.
Well, Casey Kautzman in that punt kind of reinvigorated that Tech defense right there. They were anticipating being set up closer to the 50, kind of fired up when that ball rolled close to the 20-yard line right there. They bowed their backs up. Defensive line came to play as we saw Cole Graham make a big play, and then Tell Arthur finishes it off with the batted pass. So no harm done by this Rocky offense. It's Tech's offense's turn to see if they can do some damage.
Nate Milanowski in the backfield for Montana Tech on 1st down from the 31. And Wilson Fires to a wide open Derek Pierce across the 40-yard line to the 46 and a first down.
Yeah, Wilson had a Rocky defender right there in his face as Sean Tuddy was coming down. Hurries up to throw, and then Pierce makes a great adjustment to the throwing ball. That's always hard, especially as a big dude coming across the field, just running a climber in that Rocky defense. Ball was thrown a little bit behind, makes the adjustment and the catch, and moves the sticks as this Tech offense fires it to its big, trustworthy tight end, Derek Pierce. We haven't called his name much today, but he's been doing a lot of yeoman's work in the run game.
Pierce with 17 catches coming into today. That's his first of the afternoon, but it's a big one. First down gain to the 47. And this time they'll stay on the ground to Milanowski. Milanowski still on his feet. Down inside the 45-yard line, and another first down for Montana Tech.
Yeah, Tech's done such a good job on those edge runs right there. You saw a couple of Rocky defenders go right there. Tucker Sides just wasn't able to get Milanowski. He was able to lose a little bit of yardage, miss the tackle, and then did his damage getting north-south as he climbed into the Rocky secondary and gets another first down on the other side of the field for this Tech offense.
First down gain to the 42 in Rocky territory. Wilson. And kind of a busted play. I think they were trying to get it to Kurgan, but the ball was thrown behind him. Yeah,
they had a bunch of action as they had the swing pass out to the right side. Kurgan sneaking underneath there, unable to get it to him. They had Torgerson running a swing route. You see lots of little bumps and fakes right there. The ball actually bounced off the offensive lineman's head right there. Just a little flip and unable to get it to him as the ball was closest to the offensive guard, Chase Meyer.
And you see the stands at home on your TV. That's the visiting side.
That's Montana Tech side.
That is the Montana Tech side, and it is full, and it's great to see. No one's left here today. We still got ourselves a game at 28-13. Second and 10 from the 42. Montana Tech now will take a timeout. Their first of the half. They'll have 2 remaining. Comes with 12:57 to play here in the fourth quarter.
Well, you talked about the rosters, and Montana Tech's roster built by Montana kids, and you see them traveling from all over the state as you're watching college football here live from the Rocky Bowl in Billings, Montana on SWX.
Hey, just a reminder to join us for This Week in the Frontier Conference, airing Thursdays at 7 o'clock on SWX. Myself, along with Bobby, will bring you all the news around the Frontier Conference, the latest standing scores, top 25 interviews. We got you covered. This Week in the Frontier Conference, again, Thursday, 7 o'clock on SWX. Good look at Coach Sampson and his Montana Tech Ore Diggers, looking to go to 9-0 on the season and stay perfect. But they're in a game here, 2nd and 10 from the 42. Wilson, play action, now fires underneath and got Pierce wide open. And big old Derek Pierce drags Mason along with him.
Well, Mason Browning in pursuit right there. Derek Pierce is a load. And we've talked about the impact of various tight ends around the conference. Derek Pierce fits that mold very well. As you saw, the play action pass releases downfield right there, and Wilson able to just pitch and catch. We talked about the efficiency of Wilson, and one of the big things that's helped his development is having a big target like Derek Pierce just to kind of unload the ball to, not that far away. Pierce makes a great catch and run afterwards as this Tech offense.
And another timeout taken by Montana Tech. So they've used 2 quick timeouts here early in the fourth quarter. This one comes at 12:16 to play in the fourth. You mentioned Derek Pierce, and that guy is a big, big target to go to. 6'3", 250 pounds from Post Falls, Idaho, and makes his second catch of the afternoon. Drags Mason Browning with him for a first down to the 21.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Sampson about him and just the impact he's had. And, you know, he didn't come in as a finished product. He's one of those guys that was developed on the campus up there in Butte. And he played a secondary role for a lot of years, as he kind of played in the shadows as a run blocker first and a pass catcher second. But today you've seen his prowess in the passing game, as the success on the ground is largely due to him. But he receives a little bit of help from his quarterback, giving him something to do with the ball in the passing game right there, as he's come up with a couple big ones here in the second half. So Derek Pierce, the tight end for this Tech offense, as they're trying to grind another win out here at Rocky Mountain College. Pierce not necessarily ready to run away empty-handed with this one.
Well, and there was a reason for the stoppage, for the timeout. They wanted to check to see if there's potential targeting on Derek Pierce. So the officials are under the white tent down here, and they're going to see if there was indeed targeting. We couldn't see it from our standpoint because the contact was right here on the rocky side of the tail. But maybe we can take a look at it on replay if we've got a shot of it. And by the way, great job by our camera crew today, bringing us some great pictures.
Yeah, absolutely. From this game. You know, like you say, it's a Chamber of Commerce day here in Billings, Montana, and those guys out in the elements like we are, bringing you these shots from both ends of the field. And that's one of those things where you know, we were just blocked out. The red shirts for Rocky Mountain College are sitting right down there at the end. They had a better vantage point than we did, Chris.
So they're taking a, here we go.
So just coming in there right there at the end. Boy, I don't know if that's going to, in football, it just looked like that as he was going down, the level changed so fast. I don't think that the young man from Rocky Mountain College,
Miles Wells, is who they're looking at.
Wells wasn't necessarily aiming for the head. He was just going down and just happened to, you know, get in the way right there. He wasn't leading with his helmet, but the contact did initiate with Pierce's, but it was just kind of in the action of football.
Yeah, and I think what happened is, as Mason Browning was bringing him down, let's pick up the call here.
So that one came from the sideline. I thought there was a little bit of confusion over there. Kyle Sampson wanted to check for targeting on that call, so his request was granted, cost him a timeout. But Rocky gets away unscathed on that call. No targeting on that one. That was just a good football play. Guys traveling well to the ball. Still comes away with a first down. No targeting called. Another set of downs for this Ordiger offense.
So 1st and 10 from the 21 for Montana Tech. Even a field goal right here would make this tough for the Battlin Bears and make it a 3-possession game, but they would love to get into the end zone for a little insurance. And they get it to Torgeson, who breaks one tackle, and then he is absolutely stoned on a great individual tackle. Torgeson on the carry.
And then that's Tayshawn Mix from his corner spot right there, just kind of stays home. And the ball did come out there, but as you hear the official for today's game making the call right there, but Hicks just staying home, sees Torgeson appear right there and just brings him right down. Ground can't cause a fumble, can cause an incompletion, but right there's a good example of a good play, good officiating by this Frontier Conference crew.
Gain of 5, 2nd and 4 from the 15. Wilson on the give. Milanowski spins forward. Late flag comes in. Milanowski's right at the first down marker, but hold on.
Cade Reynolds got up. He knows what the call is going to be.
Holding.
Yeah, they're gonna get Meyer on that there, the right guard.
Penalties have been drive killers today, Bobby.
Yeah, and today Tech's, it's really kind of pushed Tech back. We watched them. They were driving early, then had 3 consecutive holding calls to come out in the third quarter. And right there, another holding call, and got a little help from Cade Reynolds on that one, as he was early on the signal on that one. He was absolutely right.
So 2nd and 14 now from the 25. Wilson on a quarterback keeper, and he is met behind the line of scrimmage, and he is picked up and sat down, and that was a big-time play by that defensive line, John Aragon, in on a stop.
Aragon's been there for a long time, played at a high level for this Rocky Mountain College defensive line. He's healthy, and right there, he's a tough guy to get any yards against. As Wilson ran right into Big John Aragon, you see it coming right from behind that good view as Aragon defeats the block at the point of attack. He and Dakota Sage right there, both in on that tackle. As Montana Tech offense it's tough to find any yards inside against those 2 big guys.
3rd and 16. Wilson now fires out there, got a man wide open, Torgerson, and Torgerson has a first down inside the 10-yard line. They'll mark him at the 7, 1st and goal. What a huge 3rd down conversion.
Well, Rocky got good pressure up the middle on the offensive line for Tech. And scooting back and scooting back and scooting back. Lets this one fly, and Torgerson, the sure-handed wide receiver from Great Falls. Right place, right time. That guy is going to grab everything out of the air possible. That selfish mentality has allowed him to have a great senior season for the Orediggers. Comes up again for the Oredigger offense. Another great set of downs inside the 10-yard line. Goal to go for the Orediggers.
Yep, sets up another red zone opportunity now for Montana Tech. From the 7, Wykees Johnson, that defensive line. Not much there. They'll give him 2, so 2nd and goal from the 5. And clock continues to run, but what a huge 3rd down conversion, Bobby, because they could very well have played themselves out of field goal range, would have kept a 2-possession game with Rocky getting the football back, but instead, Diggers knocking on the door, 2nd and goal from the 5, under 10 to play.
Yeah, real happy to just get a couple of yards at a time right now and use the clock to their advantage right here. Eliminate possessions for Rocky's offense should they get the ball back, but this Oredigger offense coming up with big plays at the right time.
Wilson, empty backfield, quarterback keeper. Wilson stretches for the end zone, hit falls forward, and he is there for the touchdown. So Jarrett Wilson, with good hard running from his quarterback position, takes it in from 5 yards out, and Montana Tech putting an exclamation point on this one today with a touchdown.
Well, we got a late flag right here, but Jared Wilson with that advantage run game, that's what's going to put him over the top in that quarterback battle, and he stayed true to form right there. That's his 2nd rushing touchdown today, Chris, at a big time when the Orediggers really needed it. A little bit of discussion on how they're going to assess this one. A little bit of pushing and shoving. Cade Reynolds, the offender right there, and that one will be assessed after this.
Kautzman on for the extra point, and line drives that one through. So with 8:58 to play here in the 4th, Montana Tech now can breathe a little bit easier as they've opened up a 35-13 lead. Back with more Frontier Conference football here on SWX. 8:58 to play here in the fourth. Montana Tech looking for their 9th win of the season against no defeats. Kyle Sampson got his team playing well. Number 5 national ranking, depending on which poll you're looking at, of course. But, boy, Montana Tech is positioning themselves for not only a nice run in the postseason if they close strong, but also playing some games in good old Butte.
Yeah, and that's one of the things he talked about. This race to the end of the season. They got to take advantage of, all the things that they need to do well offensively to, continue their victorious runs, but more importantly, keep their eye week to week so that they are afforded that luxury of playing in Butte, which is a tough to play no matter what time of year it is, even tougher if you get a little bit of weather.
I'm sure Bob Green's here today.
Oh, I haven't heard him.
He's going to be happy.
Could you imagine Kaiser of Florida coming to Butte, Montana?
It could happen.
In late November. What a transition to seasons for those cats.
Yeah, and that's just it. When you talk about home field advantage, a lot of that's as you mentioned, just the geography of it and having to play. Here it is again, the touchdown.
Wilson right there just does a great job running with his feet and then just jumping in the air. Ball comes out there at the end, but not before it crosses the plane. And he knows what to do with it. Both hands up, celebratory little dance around, get the ball to the official and get to your sideline. Watch Novak here. Lots of time there.
Yeah, he's going
collapses.
Down. Yep, Novak again is hit, and they're going to mark him 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So that's going to bring up 2nd and 16 back to the 21-yard line.
And that one, Roland Trent, defensive lineman. We talk about that second tier of the defensive line from Montana Tech, and Roland Trent rolling with the 2s, playing like a 1 right there as he gets Novak for a 4-yard loss to start off this drive for the Bears.
Digger's coming with the ears pinned back here as Rocky forced to throw the football on every play. Novak looks right, now comes back the other way. Ball may have been hit right as he released it, intended for Eric Lira. Incomplete pass brings up 3rd down.
Yeah, Rock, with this defensive line now, just like you said, pinning their ears back, just trying to get upfield and keep Novak in the pocket. I think that pressure right in front, that Tel Arthur showing pressure, not bringing it right there, just waiting for something to happen. And Tech's defensive mindset is to play coverage and rush the passer right now.
So 3rd and 14 for Rocky. 8:15 to play here in the fourth. Novak again, this time fires underneath, got a man wide open. It's going to be short of the 1st down. Nice catch by Tyson Hunt. But Hunt is going to be
3 yards
short. 3 yards short of a 1st down.
Yeah, good play. We've seen them run that a couple of times. The offense is going to stay out here as this is a must-score situation for Rocky. Trying to get it back within 2 scores here. With this Rocky offense, been game all day, been battling from behind after the first drive by the Tech offense.
So here we go on 4th and 3. And now movement on both sides. Flags come in.
Dom.
Always a lot of finger pointing going on.
Yeah, with Dom Umiele was right in the middle there.
All right, so the Bears pick up the 1st down on the penalty. And that will move the ball up to the 38-yard line and a 1st down.
Well, Novak right now just asking for a little bit more time. Half a count here, half a count there. As you just see it right in the middle right there. He made contact. They didn't need the offensive guard to jump there.
Novak. Incomplete pass intended for the backup tight end, Chance Goltz.
Yeah, right there from his defensive safety box there, Justin Weber, the redshirt freshman, able to make a nice play with the offhand and pass defense right there. So as you see him right there just standing in your screen, young man out of Pasco, Washington, making the play defensively for the Diggers.
2nd down. Novak going to throw it out here on the deep out, and Peyton Gonzer's there for the interception.
We've seen that story before.
Yeah, we have, haven't we?
Young man's got a good feel for what's happening offensively, and you see that thing looked open initially, but Peyton Gonzer just with his drop in the secondary underneath that route, able to pick that ball out of the air with his hands, Young man's been very opportunistic for this Ordigger defense. Comes up with a big turnover right there and kind of shutting the door here for the Rocky Mountain College Battlin Bears today is Peyton Gonzer, a guy who's made a number of key plays. Figures makes yet another one here in Billings today. Peyton Gonzer and this Ordigger defense playing tough here late.
Another Great Falls kid.
Yep, absolutely.
Another Great Falls. So first down for the Diggers from the 49. I expect a lot of handoffs here with 7:11 to play. No, Wilson's going to throw. What do I know? And he's got Torgerson wide open. And Torgerson hauls it in inside the 20-yard line. And a first down for Montana Tech.
Yeah, Sean Teddy gets up. He's a little bit frustrated right there. Thought he'd have a little bit of help with that play action. Thanks to the very efficient, very powerful run game. Allows Torgerson to get behind right here. As you see him just throwing one up, Torgerson runs underneath it. Teddy able there to stop him, but not before the Ordiggers. Big explosive play, and I think now, Chris, you're going to see that ball in the stomach of Wykees Johnson right here. Is Montana Tech trying to eat more and more clock here as the clock ticks under 6:30 to play.
First down, and this time they do go to Wykees Johnson, and Johnson, nothing doing there. No gain on the play, so call it 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Rocky defensively there. Had Landon Cannell there in his defensive spot. They say he plays safety, but he's dropped down into the box playing linebacker today. As Montana Tech taking time, off the clock, not allowing this Rocky offense back on there. Tech's been in this position a lot this season, just trying to be able to get out of here with a win.
Well, loss for Rocky in regard to keeping their hopes alive to win the Eastern Division, and they got a tough game next week. They go to Madison to take on Dakota State. Here's Johnson bouncing to the outside, and he'll get to the corner as Goins got a whole bunch of air. Johnson went right over the top of him. Positive gain.
Yeah, Wykees Johnson got banged up in the middle of the season. Looks like his legs are still fresh right there as he was able to hop out of the tackle of Goins. See him just jump right here. Just bounces out of the middle of that one, able to keep his feet. Great balance from the graduate student who didn't originate at Montana Tech but has found a home in the backfield there. We're going to get another holding call, it looks like.
Yep.
So Derek Pierce been doing a great job right there. Gets called for the holding call, so a negative play. This time backs up the Ordigger offense. They'll start their second down, try it again here from about the 25-yard line.
One of the things that we've seen, Bobby, in the games we do, and I don't know if it's just coincidence or what it is, but it seems like a lot of the games we've done, there's just been such a huge amount of penalties late in the game, fourth quarter penalties. And we've had a lot in this game too, especially late in the third and on into the fourth quarter. And this is going to back Montana Tech up to the 24, make it 2nd and 19. And now another timeout taken by Montana Tech, and that's their final timeout. They burned up 2 early in the fourth quarter and now use their third one.
Well, I think, to your point about penalties late in the game, guys get tired, right? They get extended,
Yep.
They start holding on. Those are easy calls, especially on the edge of offensive plays and in the run game. And it's a lot easier for officials to see that. And guys, stop moving their feet. That's one of the things that coaches harp on is when you engage with a defender through contact, and the more tired you get, the more apt you are to make those silly mistakes. And Derek Pierce, he's been working his tail on the edge of that offensive line. And he's been the beneficiary of catching some balls late here in the second quarter, extending drives for this Montana Tech offense right there. Just kind of grabs a hold, drags the guy down as you see Coach Stutstream right there trying to find a little magic here late in Billings.
Well, it was that last touchdown that really sealed it for Montana Tech to put them up 35-13 as we're down to 5:15 to play here in the fourth. Again, Montana Tech out of timeouts, not that they need them at this point, but we'll see what they dial up on 2nd and 19. They've been aggressive offensively. We thought maybe they'd just try to run the clock out, but they've been winging it around. And this time they're going to go back the other way on the reverse. And talk about a great play. dialed up and just short of the end zone, down to the 1 yard line. It looked like they were going to go to Torgerson, then flipped it to Dylan Snyder, and Snyder takes it all the way down inside the 5.
Well, Coach Sampson on that timeout drew something up pretty sweet right here. As you see the reverse as it comes underneath the Snyder right there. A lot of action to Torgerson. They've been consistently giving him that. That's another thing you got to prepare for defensively in the coming weeks, as it looks like he almost stayed in bounds right there. You saw the official point to the sideline where it went out of bounds, but he sets up Montana Tech with goal to goal inside the 5 yard line.
First and goal from the 4. Johnson back into the game. Johnson will get the call and stretches for the end zone, and he is up and in. So Johnson, with some good hard running up over the right side and a couple of late fourth quarter touchdowns, has made this game look a lot more out of control than it was until the final 6 minutes, 41-13.
Well, Waukesha Johnson does something pretty special right there. You'll see it on the replay as defensive lineman number 10, Jamari Madison, comes free off the edge, has Waukesha Johnson dead to rights right there in the backfield. Johnson jump cuts and then just races into the end zone right behind Madison. So Waukesha Johnson, his legs coming back to him a little bit right there as we watch the kick sail through for another successful 7 points for this Orediger offense, and they extend their lead here to 42-13 late.
42-13.
Just watch that. You see Jabari Madison spins himself all the way around in a 360, loses him just for a second, but Waukesha Johnson continues to be elusive for this Montana Tech running game.
Johnson, as we said, 634 yards running the football coming into this game. Had a solid game today, so on the verge of going 9-0, 4-0 in the East, so they'll take control in the Eastern Division. Dakota State still hanging around with 1 loss, but Montana Tech will take over sole possession of first place with 2 weeks remaining in the season. But more important, keep that undefeated record moving forward and keep them in that top 5 in the national rankings.
Well, if you're Montana Tech right now, just a lot of polishes as we see another ball fall off the tee for the Montana Tech special teams as Ryder Baranowski trying to find a way. That's kind of the only thing that's kind of gone against them today. Can't find a way to stay on the tee for him, and Ryder Baranowski's had to do it out with a holder rather than just the tee today. But this Montana Tech team looks really good headed into November, Chris.
They do, and they're healthy for the most part. Got everybody at full strength and just clicking off the wins each and every Saturday now as we get close to the end of the regular season. Coach Sampson really building something special over at Montana Tech.
And that healthy you talk about, a lot of times we see key players go down. We saw Rocky go into this one without their explosive playmaker Darius Haskins, which had to have an effect, if not for their offense. It really affects the way that Montana Tech defense had to play them, because you always got to keep an eye where Darius Haskins is. There's always the chance of that big play happening. And, young man with over 10 touchdowns this season as we watch. I think that's Tough Harris.
Yeah, Adams with the nice run to the 35, 36-yard line.
Tough Adams. Had to dig in the memory bank there. Tough Harris, a great corner for Montana. University of Montana down there in Missoula out of Hardin, but that's Tough Adams out of Helena.
And new change at quarterback as Luke Holcomb has come in relief of Trent Novak. And Adams busting through, still on his feet at midfield. Adams all the way down to the 41-yard line. What a great run.
Living up to his name right there. Tough run, gets through that first initial wave, decides to punish a couple of secondary guys for the Orediger defense. As you see it right here coming into your screen. You see him right here, lower his shoulder, runs through Peyton Gonza right there, and then Damon Burns gets the brunt of that collision. It's Tough Adams.
So Adams gets the carry again. He was looking for contact on that
absolutely
last run. I mean,
he
he is finding a green jersey and running into it.
He was hunting contact on that one. Damon Burns had to suffer through that one, but able to bring him down here as Rocky. Not much on first down there, brings up 2nd and 9.
Ball at the 40-yard line in Tech territory. Adams this time wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Good open field tackling by Jace Thompson. Yep. Thompson brings him down for no gain.
Safety playing in the box, kind of sees what Rocky's doing here. Comes down, scrapes downhill, able to make the play right there. Fort Benton product playing in Butte. A couple of substitutions for Montana Tech.
3rd and 10. Holcomb throws underneath. That's a catch made by Ping, who gets collared right at the first down marker. They're going to mark him just short. It'll be 4th and 1.
That's actually his tight end. That's Tyler Abbott. Yep. We got another flag on the play late as we're watching. Tack on some yardages. Somebody got an inadvertent hand go up, grab the face mask of Abbott, and able to drive deeper into Montana Tech territory. Right there at the end, you see wrenched his face around, but Abbott with the big play, going to stay in the game.
That's going to take it down inside the red zone to the 17, 1st and 10. Here late in the 4th quarter, and now another flag comes in.
Yeah, they're going to get an illegal motion by Lira right there as he started in motion a little bit early.
So that'll be 1st and 13 now.
Well, we talked about late in the game how things kind of unravel. Get a little bit tired. Things aren't, you got a new quarterback in there. Things sound a little bit different. Lira starts a little bit early on that one. Backs him up 5. Rocky ready to go now.
Holcomb throws incomplete. Intended for Lira.
That one was a little bit low for him. There's a lot of traffic in front of him. The offensive lineman scraped right in front of him as that ball just squirted by untouched, and Lira unable to hold on to that one as there's a ton of people around him on that particular play. The screen pass goes for nothing, brings up 2nd and 15 for Rocky.
2:13 to play. Here comes blitz off the corner. The run the other way, and Adams will take it inside the 20, back to the original line of scrimmage, or close to it. And that's going to take us to the 2-minute mark here in the 4th. So we've reached the 2-minute warning here in Billings at Herb Klint Field. Montana Tech 2 minutes away from their 9th win of the season. They lead at 42-13. And back for the final 2 minutes of this one. Montana Tech slamming the door on the Battlin Bears' chances to win the East. As we told you, Rocky needed to win out in order to capture the East, but they will fall short. They're off to Madison to take on Dakota State next week. Dakota State still very much in the picture. Luke Holcomb in relief of Trent Novak. Novak going to field this tomorrow. Holcomb fires across the middle, and that ball is thrown high. We've got a big one coming up next week on SWX to wind up the regular season, Bobby.
Yeah, down in Helena, we've got Carroll College in College of Idaho. That for the Western Division crown right now, and Carroll College has continued to climb every week in the polls. They're up to number 8 last week. As you know, they have really built on top of the success of their quarterback, Caden Hewitt, in College of Idaho. Has just been consistent all year themselves, doing well in the polls in that tweener between 10 and 15 every week. And Mike Morosky and his Chargers down trying to take care of business in Caldwell today as they had the late start. They're just in the first quarter against Arizona Christian.
Well, that, as you mentioned, Bobby, that is going to decide the Western Conference division between College of Idaho and Carroll. And boy, you talk about Carroll College and Caden Hewitt. You mentioned him and what a job he's done. And that team has just gotten better every single week. And Hewitt's really grown into his role as the starting quarterback. And he's taken over the leadership of that team. And the College of Idaho, always strong, always in contention, it seems. And so
that balanced attack the College of Idaho runs largely on the legs of Riley Byington.
Yep.
You know, that running game is certainly going to be a problem for Carroll. It's going to be a great one next week in Helena. Don't forget to tune in on that one on SWX next Saturday. So we've got the Eastern Division, really the Eastern Division title crown right here today. And then next week we're bringing you a consequential game on the west side of the Frontier Conference, live from Helena there at Nelson Stadium.
I see there's a family of rabbits right below us that are enjoying the festivities today.
Well,
I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
My time at Rocky, we had a huge rabbit population, and the weird thing is they're not wild. They're domestic rabbits. Yeah. They had a big problem in the 90s and early 2000s with people leaving their domestic rabbits on campus here. They thrive at the campus of Rocky Mountain College. Bunnies everywhere. Bunnies everywhere here at the Battlin Bear, Herb Clint Field here on Rocky's campus.
So you have the family of rabbits, and then you have the mouse house across the way. We're sharing space with our family of animal friends.
I've been gone a while, but some things just haven't changed.
Yes, there they are.
Look at those guys.
All three of them just rolling around on the grass.
Those are well-fed bunnies. It's Easter every day here in the college, at Rocky Mountain College. And folks, if you have any wild ideas, don't bring your bunnies to campus. Don't bring your bunnies to campus.
Victory formation for Montana Tech. Hey, never easy to win on the road, and this one was not easy for Tech until some late touchdowns made this game look a lot farther apart than it actually was, as the Bears had got within 2 touchdowns in the third, but then Montana Tech pulls away in the fourth quarter, had some big plays, and this one will tick down, and it's 9-0 for Montana Tech, the 5th-ranked team in the country. Battlin Bears will fall to 3-5, and their first loss in the Eastern Division as they're set to go on the road next week.
Still a lot of games left for Rocky Mountain College. Can't let this one get your dauber too far down, as you got Dakota State in Madison, a place where Coach Stutz has never been. We talked about that. That's one of the places you're pretty familiar with, the Frontier Conference. He's looking forward to a new place, some new faces next week. Got to find a way to get back on this one. Maybe get Darius Haskins back, as he was questionable late into the week. But that had a dramatic effect on the outcome of this one, as the Orediggers continue to 9-0 and really in dominant fashion late, as they were able to start fast and then, more importantly, finish this one as their run continues through the Frontier.
Well, and a big chunk of offense out of this game with Darius Haskins. He is the equivalent of Levi Torgeson for Montana Tech, and without him, it takes away a lot of that big play capability. Still, the Bears moved the ball fairly effectively this afternoon, but this Montana Tech unit is so solid on both sides of the football. They can run, they can pass. Wilson's gotten better, I think, every week as the season. We saw him back in September especially.
Very comfortable running this offense, and they may stumble a little bit throughout the game, but they never fall, and they haven't fallen short yet this year, as Kyle Sampson really has this offense. We saw a lot of different variations and some things going on here. Is there some eye candy for opposing defenses to break down, but Montana Tech continues its dominance through the Frontier, traveling on the road, playing well today, coming out on top of these Battlin Bears here in Billings, 42-13.
And don't forget, next Thursday, this week in the Frontier Conference on SWX. Big thanks to our SWX crew today, directed by Tom Holmberg this afternoon. All the guys here responsible for the great job of running camera, giving us the pictures and sound from Butte, or rather from Billings. So for Bobby Beers, I'm Chris Byers. Thanks for watching. We see you at Carroll College in Helena. So long from Herb Clint Field.